So here we are in a borrowed Enfield. The threads here were jammed and clogged up and didn't have the bolts in. Turns out they are 2 BA threads. Managed to find one long BA screw that will go in there. Had to weld a bit of thread onto another one to make 2 that are going to go on. That then needs to be fitted onto the shroud here, and for the Enfield we believe it's a unique fitting. The outer case has a little bit of a crack in it, so I've repaired it with some fuel tank epoxy filler, which actually then holds and supports the cracked elements. So it's quite easy then, once we've got one screw in place, to screw the other screw into the cowling so it ends up nice and tight onto the steering column. And there we have the finished article, bolted on, looking a lot nicer than having the bare switch. So another quick fix. So we're just going to make a little patch lead up for this purple lead. So I'm just going to crimp the end on so that the power, because the cable on the car is a little bit too short, somebody's cut it short at some point. So we're just going to crimp a little bit of extra cable on. I like to cold crimp them rather than solder them on, so that there's a little bit of flexibility within the unit. And then we've got a little slide, a little plastic cover to go over the unit, so it's insulated because it's a positive feed. And then you can see I've already put a little bit of heat shrink on there, and we're just going to solder that onto the wire in the car. Right, so the wire's in place. We're just going to solder the two together. So a little bit of solder. And then once that's cool, we're just going to slide our heat shrink over the joint, which we should be able to just about do. Might need to squeeze it, and then I'm going to heat shrink it. Right, so there's our heat shrink on. I'm just going to heat shrink it in place so that there's no live edges. There we go. And then that gives us sufficient length to actually plug that onto the live feed, which we're going to use on the back of the fuse box. We're just going to lay that cable down nicely. So the internal lights now had a new bulb put in it. It's had the power cable packed up, and when you turn it on, it now turns off, and when you turn it off. So it's actually not operated by the doors, it's just an internal light that you turn on and off. Another quick fix on the Enfield 8000.